The phone rang while I was folding laundry. A stupid, ordinary moment. Cotton. Silence. My breathing steady. Then the voice on the other end shattered everything. "Mr. Hale? I'm calling regarding the probate results. Your uncle left you the full amount. $4.8 million. It's already in transfer." For a second, time thickened. I stared at the wall like it was a stranger breathing in my house. 4.8 million. Enough to fix everything. Enough to bury the debts my wife had been drowning in. Enough to finally lift her parents' collapsing mortgage. Enough to make life quiet again. My chest tightened, not with excitement, but with something quieter, a cautious kind of hope. I folded the last shirt with mechanical precision. Then I walked toward the bedroom door, each step measured, each breath steady. I imagined her face when I told her, the relief in her eyes, the way her shoulders would finally drop after years of tension. I opened the door. Light from the hallway spilled over my feet. Voices drifted up from the kitchen, hers, and a man's. I froze at the top of the stairs, my hand still on the doorknob. I wasn't supposed to hear anything. But the universe has a way of choosing moments, cruel, intentional moments. Her laugh slipped into the air, soft, too soft, followed by his voice, low, familiar in a way that made my skin crawl. Then her words sharpened into something that sliced the room in half. "It's almost handled. He still thinks the debts are mine. Just keep patient." My pulse stopped. Handled? I leaned slightly forward, breath held, the way you listen to your fate ripping open. Then she said it, and everything inside me turned cold. If he knew the truth, he'd never forgive me, so he won't. My world didn't shake, it simply froze, mid-step, mid-breath, mid-life. I stayed there, unmoving, letting their words seep into me like poison. He spoke, calm, almost practiced. "You're sure he won't check anything?" Her answer was a quiet blade. "He trusts me too much." Trust. I almost laughed. The bitter kind. The debts. Her parents' mortgage. Every bill. Every panic. Every whisper of fear she'd spilled into my hands. It played back in my mind like a staged performance. Had it all been a lie? My chest tightened, but my face stayed still. It always did. Then the man said it. The final confirmation. "Once he pays everything off, we're done. Leave. Leave." The word echoed, hollowing out my ribs. My wife, planning a clean escape. With him. I still didn't know who he was, but the tone, the familiarity, hinted at something far deeper than an affair, something deliberate. I stepped back from the stairs, silent, letting the shadows fold over me. My mind worked through the shock, cataloging every detail, every inconsistency. The late-night calls she said were her mother's, the sudden expenses with no receipts, the way she guarded her phone like it contained her oxygen. I'd ignored it, excused it, loved her too much to question. Fool. But this wasn't betrayal born from passion. It was born from calculation. And calculation is something I understand. I closed the bedroom door softly, sat on the edge of the bed, and let silence fill the room like smoke. Not anger, not heartbreak, just realization. I played the obedient husband for days, quiet, calm, predictable. She never noticed the shift in my eyes, but beneath the surface, gears were turning. The first step was simple, access. Her phone unlocked with the birthday she thought I had forgotten. I didn't read messages at first. I only mapped patterns, call durations, times, frequencies. The same number, daily, long, hidden under a fake business label. Next, the debts. All 7 accounts she claimed were drowning her, none of them showed her name. Not legally, not financially. They were his. Her parents' mortgage, already paid off last year. I confirmed it quietly with the bank under the guise of arranging a surprise payment. The spiral tightened. Her entire narrative, every panic attack, every tear, every trembling request for money, was engineered. Performances meant to pull me closer while she positioned herself to walk away with a clean slate, funded by my work, by my trust, by the love she used as currency. I said nothing. I simply collected. Phone logs, financial statements, location history. The man, I learned, wasn't random. He was someone from her past, someone she'd told me she barely remembered, someone she had apparently remembered well enough to build a future with, after gutting mine. Every night, I lay beside her listening to her breathe, feeling the warmth of someone who had already mentally packed her bags. I didn't rage. Rage is noisy, reckless, revealing. I preferred strategy, quiet, precise. I waited until every piece was aligned, until the truth was airtight. Then the moment came. The DNA test arrived in my email, not for a child, but for the financial documents and digital evidence I'd compiled. Authenticated, verifiable, irrefutable. She wouldn't escape this truth, not this time. I chose a calm morning, the kind she liked. Soft light, quiet kitchen, coffee brewing. She turned when I walked in, smiled. The gentle, deceptive smile I'd loved for years. "Morning," she said. I set the stack of papers on the table. Nothing dramatic, just a soft thud. She frowned. "What's that?" "Everything," I said. 2 words. Calm, detached. She reached for the papers with a hand that had stolen from me for months. As she read, her face drained. Line by line, lie by lie. Her world collapsing as mine had at the top of the stairs. Phone records, financial statements, recordings, call logs, mortgage documents, evidence layered like sediment, undeniable and heavy. Her voice cracked, thin and trembling. Where did you get all of this?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. The silence was punishment enough. She sank into the chair, gripping the papers like they were burning her fingers. "Please, just let me explain." No. The word came out softly, almost kindly, but it carried more finality than any scream. She broke. Tears, shaking breaths, everything she had withheld while manipulating me. And I stayed still, frozen, watching her unravel, like she had watched me without blinking. I placed a sealed envelope beside her, my final move. She looked up with red-ringed eyes. What is this?" "My answer," I said. She opened it with trembling hands. Inside, a signed withdrawal of all financial support. My uncle's inheritance moved into a separate, untouchable trust. Her access removed. Her escape plan dismantled. And lastly, a written acknowledgement of her actions, documented and time-stamped, ready for legal submission. Her breath caught. You're leaving me?" "No," I said calmly. "You're leaving me. You just didn't know it until now." The words hit her harder than any accusation. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. Just a broken gasp. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't threaten or insult. I just walked to the doorway, paused, and looked back at the woman who thought she could strip me clean and walk away smiling. "You should have checked if the man you were using knew how to think," I said. Then I left the room, letting her drown in the truth she built with her own hands. The house felt different as I walked through it. Lighter, like something infected had finally been excised. I didn't feel victory, or triumph, just clarity. It's strange how betrayal doesn't explode, it evaporates, leaving behind the bones of a life you thought was whole. I stepped outside, letting the cold air fill my lungs. Her muffled crying echoed from the kitchen. Once, that sound would have gutted me. Now, it meant nothing. Some stories end with forgiveness. Some end with revenge. Mine ended with understanding. I finally saw her for who she was, and I finally saw myself for who I became when the lies stopped blinding me. I closed the door behind me, quiet, final, and in that silence I felt the truth. She lost me long before she realized I had already walked away.